Happy Wednesday morning to you, Crosspoint Alliance Church. Good to be with you via video. Always so grateful and happy that we have this amazing technology in my lifetime that enables us to do this. So trust that you're well, resting in Jesus. I want to talk to you this morning about something we touched on last Sunday morning in the realm of spiritual warfare. And if I could sum it up in a phrase, I would, and I think I will. I would sum up our talk today in this phrase: the devil is a liar. He's a liar. John 8:44, in Jesus' description of the devil, he says he is a liar and the father of lies. Now, we touched on that last Sunday. He's a liar, and he dupes people. He tells lies and gets people to believe them, and to live out their lives based on something that is patently untrue, but we don't always know it. So going back to Ephesians 6:12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against, some of the words are rulers, authorities, spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. And I touched on this a little bit Sunday, but the devil, there's things like white lies, and any lie is a lie, but what he does is he gets us to believe in narratives, okay? He gets us to accept a worldview or his rendition of what is actually happening, and therein lies the wrestling match. And so I want to kind of push into that. Lies that we might believe, because if he's going to get you to believe a lie, you begin to act on that, and you begin to interpret on that, and the rest is just chaos, okay? So this is just, what's coming now is just my opinion, me sitting at my desk saying, Lord, help me, try to put together maybe some lies that the devil is bringing upon the culture, and in some cases, I think the church. So I would be curious, you can put in the comment section maybe some lies that you think the devil is bringing against the church and or the culture, or even yourself. But I think one lie that is coming against the church and definitely is in the culture is this: that the church is outdated, irrelevant, and antiquated. The church is outdated, irrelevant, and antiquated. The church meaning the people of God, the gospel, the people who believe in Jesus, that the whole thing is old hat or just antiquated, no longer a thing. I'll tell you why I think that. One is just the number of people leaving the church. Okay, now as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me, but I can't speak for others, but there's a lot of folks who are leaving, and the sense is that there's nothing here for me, okay? So I think at one level, you could make the case that the church in America is either under discipline or is getting corrected. I do. I think you can make that case. And in that process, it might be why the church seems to be antiquated, outdated, and irrelevant. High-profile leaders going belly up, moral corruption, sexual failure, scandals, bribes, nepotism, all kinds of just garbage. This is in the evangelical church. This would be our stream. You name about any church stream you want, and that's what's happening. I think in many cases the church has sacrificed mission to build up its own infrastructure, investing in ourselves at the expense of mission. I think you can make a case for that. I think those are reasons that Jesus is dealing with the church. But here's the bottom line. Ephesians 1:22. God the Father does something. And what does he do? He puts all things under Jesus' feet and gives him as head over all things to the church. So who's the head of the church? Jesus. So it's not true that the church is outdated, irrelevant, antiquated. It's not true. If Jesus is the head of the church, the plan is still on, and the church is the people that Jesus has chosen to draw people out of this present age, to call them to himself, and they become the church. As soon as someone becomes a Christian, they're part of the church. So if Jesus is the head of the church, it's not outdated, it's not irrelevant, and it's not antiquated. It's still game on. So I think we need to say that to ourselves, because what can happen is people will tell you that the church is just full of a bunch of hypocrites, and and in some cases there might be some truth to that. But the church belongs to Jesus, and Jesus is the head of the church. So if in those talking points you get the idea that someone is bringing to you this lie that the church is no longer a thing, you push back on that and don't believe it. Don't believe it, because Jesus is the head of the church, Ephesians 1:22. Here's another lie that I think is out there, that this is just me sitting at my desk again, that I think the church is finally breaking free from. It goes something like this: we need a political leader to help us get out of this mess that the church is in. We, the church, need a political leader to help us. So in our Tuesday morning men's Bible study, shameless plug, 7 to 8 every Tuesday morning, we're reading through the book of Acts. And what we're reading there is that the church is thriving and running the ball down the field, so to say, without governmental support. And we could say the government isn't not only not supporting the church. In the book of Acts, the government is against the church. In other words, the government is marshaling its resources, try to stamp out the church, and it's not working. So we don't need a political leader. In fact, that would be a lie. Or to think that if we get the right people elected, it's really going to change things for us. How about this? How about we don't wait on that? We can work for that. I think we need to, because we're salt and light. We work for good. We want to get good candidates in. But we don't put our trust in that. How about this? Ephesians 1:22, again, that God put Jesus in charge of everything, including the church. So Jesus is the one that we need. How about that? How about we not wait until we get everything squared away in the political realm? Again, I think, this is just me, again, you can disagree. I think we're coming out of that. I think the church is finally beginning to say, yeah, this government is out of control. We got to do our thing. Let them do their thing. We'll pray for the governmental leaders, but we don't. It's crazy. We're not going to look to them for any help. It'll probably get worse for the Christians, and as much as I hate to say it, I think it's best. I think it's best that we get a harder time, because it helps us become more pure. It's hard. Maybe you would agree with that without persecution and difficulty, I don't know that we'll get more holy. Lie number 3. This is, again, just me sitting at my desk, but this gets a little more personal, and maybe at the personal level. I know it's hitting the culture, and I suspect at some level it's hitting the church. And I'm going to try to put it into words, but the lie goes something like this: God isn't there. He's just not there. If he were, these things wouldn't be happening. There wouldn't be an invasion of Ukraine. There wouldn't be all these lawsuits against Christians practicing their faith in America. If God were there, he wouldn't allow that. Or maybe at an even more personal level, things are happening in your life that it's hard to square. If God is there, why is this happening? The conclusion, or maybe the assumption is, if he were there, he wouldn't allow it to happen. But the lie is that he isn't there. And that's a pernicious lie. That might be the most, I think that of the 3 that I'm mentioning, that might be the more confrontational, or the more seductive lie, to believe that God isn't there for a non-Christian or even a Christian. So a couple of scriptures here. Isaiah 46:10, God says, "My counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose." God's the best chess player there ever was. He plays chess in life. He plays chess with the kingdoms of this world. He plays chess, not in an unloving way, but like he's the mastermind. And everything that he wants to come to pass will come to pass. And if that's true, then it's not true that he's not there. Additionally, Jesus says to his disciples right before he ascends to the Father, "Look, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." So he is there. And we want to believe that not only is he there, but he's present and he's working. The days are not getting darker for the Christians. Absolutely not. They're getting brighter. Things are ramping up. He's going to give more grace. He's going to help us get back on track. He's going to purify us. We're fine. God is there. Jesus is there, and he's taking care of his people. And again, this is just me. These are lies I think are out there. We want to come against them with scripture and combat and not allow ourselves to be seduced by it's narcissistic. And it's kind of like self-pity to yield to these lies. But yeah, so that concludes that part. Again, put in the comment section lies that you think might be out there. Hey, next Tuesday at church, February 28th, 6:30 p.m., we're going to have like a focus study addressing the third issue that I mentioned in my annual vision address about evangelism and outreach. Please come if you're interested. We want creative ideas. We want solutions that are in keeping with the following thoughts. Want to reach children, want to reach their parents, want to reach families, but we also want to do things that are natural, that work with the rhythms that we have. And let's be creative. Let's think out of the box. If you can't make it, send in your thoughts and suggestions. But I encourage you to be prayed up and just seek the Lord. And maybe you've got an idea that is what we need. So I encourage you to be here for that. Let the office know, office at crosspointac.org, and we can send you kind of some thoughts to help you prepare. And we even have some demographic sketches of the area that we're in, just to help us know who's living around us. So yeah, look forward to that and invite you to come to that. So let me bless you, Crosspoint. Lord bless you and keep you. Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Love you, Crosspoint. We'll see you Sunday.